Which is cool. We saw that guy at Staples tonight. They bring out the Gimp guy.
The Gimp guy.
He was there. 18 years later.
And welcome to Overtime, brought to you by KingsCast at www.kingscast.net. I'm Keith Kornelek.
Yeah, I'm Chris Kalzewski.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, we're back.
Happening? Yeah, back in the house.
That's
Dr.
right,
KingsCast who?
I know. Seriously. Yeah, Keith, it's been a while with just the two of us, but tonight we're going to talk about the Detroit Red Wings game that took place tonight at Staples Center. We're also going to talk about the Justin Williams re-sign, talk about Marco Sturm, and we'll also talk about the big trade for Dustin Penner, and also plug a new cool T-shirt.
Yes, which we are also wearing, which is awesome. That's right, it is episode 93 entitled Pretenders to Contenders with a question mark.
So, Keith, the Kings played the Red Wings tonight, obviously, and it was a difficult game in a lot of ways. But in fitting fashion, we are wearing new T-shirts tonight, given us to by refsusuck.com. Very cool site. Check it out. It's sort of a site for all sports, breaking down the obscure and offbeat, and it has a cool store of a bunch of shirts and everything like that. And, of course, celebrating the age-old practice of ref bashing.
Yeah, we definitely hate the refs, especially tonight. Welcome back, Kings fans. What's happening? Big day for deals. We're going to talk about that later. And in town tonight is Detroit Red Wings. 4-0 Detroit. Let's talk about the Detroit Red Wings, Los Angeles Kings. And Kings came out looking really, really good, reinvigorated because of the trade deadline. Dean Lombardi finally showed him some love and, you know, get a quick goal on the board. And then, I mean...
All right, well, at least the first 5 minutes were good. Sloppy play by Quick, a couple bad penalties. Kings are in a hole, 3-1 against a really good team. It's not looking good. I'm going to say 3-2 Red Wings.
There was a high stick. It went really kind of to the midsection, and as it was going to the midsection in a very Sean Avery kind of way, I don't even remember what player it was. I was so pissed off at the time. Just kind of did a little, you know, I mean... Yeah. Complete dive.
No, and a friend of ours tonight actually mentioned us at the intermission. He was like, I thought the good actors were in L.A., but they're not. They're actually in Detroit, which is definitely true. I mean, the guy smelled back in dramatic fashion. Like, he just got, like, bashed in the face, but it didn't even touch his face. It was behind his head.
It was absolutely awful. All right, so into the second, and it's 4-1 Red Wings. I like our I don't like our chances. 6-1 Detroit. I mean, we've had season tickets for 6 years now, I believe. One of a handful of games that we have left early.
All right, Kings fans, so I can't take it anymore. It's one of the first times in several years that I'm actually leaving 10 minutes early. I don't even care what the final score is. It's 7-1 now. I don't care. Kings suck. All right, Keith, so lost in the midst of a crazy Christmas-like day, you know, a trade deadline day, was Justin Williams was re-signed for 4 years at a very reasonable contract for a player who's, you know, really stepping up and scoring some goals this year, being a leader, and, you know, he's really the complete package, so I thought it was a fantastic sign.
Yeah, it's 4 years, 14.6. It's 3 and change, basically, of a contract hit. And, you know, I have to go back to what Dean Lombardi said, and a lot of times I kind of disagree with him, but he said that Justin Williams is not injury prone. He just has freak injuries. And I really have to agree with that. He's got the hands, he's got the, you know, the speed and, you know, the sort of that veteran leadership. Signing him was very important because as much as I love Oscar Mueller, I'm kind of the fanboy there. Yeah. Really, he's no Justin Williams at this point. So really good signing. I have to say, Chris, I you know, went to bed last night kind of late. I was kind of looking at the trades, things like that. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and I had a dream. This is a true story, very vivid, that we had traded Jonathan Bernier for Paul Stastny. And I had a dream where I went on Twitter and put it out there, and I think I texted Dennis Bernstein, who knows, but just kind of shows you how the trade deadline is more of a Christmas morning now than Christmas morning actually is.
No, it really is. It's basically, it's like July 1st, but the second part of it. You know, it's like the exciting time, waiting to see what the Kings are going to do. And, you know, I think that trade wouldn't have been too bad. I'll take Stastny any day of the week.
Yeah, but here's the thing about February 28th, the trade deadline. We actually did something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was expecting nothing. You know, I thought at the end, maybe at the 11th hour, that Dino might sign a role player or a depth sign, something like that. Something safe because you have to do something without giving up too much. But what did he do? He went out and made the sexiest, biggest splash sign of the day. Dustin Penner is now king.
Dustin Penner for a Colton Tubert, who was way down on the depth chart, a first-round pick formerly, 13th overall, I believe, a first-round pick in 2011, a conditional third in 2012, which becomes a second-round pick if the Kings win the Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of first-round picks. We traded up to get Tubert, so, I mean, that's 3 first-round picks. But that you go back 3 drafts ago. I mean, a lot of people are pointing out online, that's way too much for Dustin Penner.
Yeah.
Draft happened 3 years ago. That said, Dustin Penner, 21 goals, is now the top scorer on the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah, we're talking about another big body out there, 6'4", 240-ish. You know, this is another big guy who's going to be out there on the top line, skating with Kopitar. I'm looking forward to seeing it because the guy can score. He's had, 39 points on a very crappy Oilers team this year. I think that he'll be pumped up, change the scenery thing. I think I see him making a difference, helping us get to that playoffs this year. And I think maybe even a higher seed, maybe a 6th again,
Well, it could happen. I mean, he has a cup with the Ducks, definitely a knock against him. We did have Sean O'Donnell, same thing. But Dustin Penner, for the first time since really Michael Camilleri, have somebody on the left who's reliable with Anze Kopitar, who can put up goals, who can contribute. Is he going to win us a cup? Probably not. But finally have someone not named Brad Richardson or even Dwight King on the left of Kopitar that can do something.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at what we gave up. I mean, it really isn't much. I mean, folks, you gotta pay to get these big-time players. That's the going rate, and I thought we came away with the steal, honestly. I know the Canadian media thinks otherwise. I think the Oilers just absolutely scored with that, but obviously they're not watching Colton Tubert that much. Because,
well, they also thought Jonathan Bernier would be the starter by January.
So it's hard to take what they say too seriously. No offense, guys.
Well, you don't watch Pacific hockey.
Yeah, well, Colton Tubert,
offense.
I'm sorry. We have plenty of defensemen. We're fine in the system. You're talking about a prospect that you give up to get a player like Dustin Penner. I mean, best case scenario, honestly.
Yeah, and he's still signed one more year for $4.25 million. We can still make a move in the offseason if that's something that Dean Lombardi's going to do. But the good news is that Lombardi watched this team come out of a really awful slump when we were predicting they weren't going to make the playoffs. And said, you know what? Now is the time to do something for the Los Angeles Kings. He did. Who would have thought that Dean Lombardi made the biggest move of the trade deadline?
Never would have guessed it. And hey, the first-round pick for next year is in a thin draft class, and it's also going to be up in the 20 to 23 range. I don't know, something like that. So it's like, I would take that if we had the chance to draft Dustin Penner at 23rd. I would take it. So hey, great trade. In Siskel and Ebert fashion, I give it 2 thumbs up.
As do I. Well done, Dean Lombardi.
So, folks, obviously with the recent activity with the Kings today, we had to say goodbye to a dear friend, Mr. Marco Sturm. Was put on waivers and quickly picked up by the Washington Capitals. And, these are tough,
They really are. Kings fans, that's why we bring you, with great reluctance, another segment we like to call See Ya. Marco Sturm. Marco, we got you for nothing. And then you came to the Kings, and you also did nothing. That's why we got to say, see ya!
Marco, I'm really going to miss the way your knees remind me of Mr. Glass in the M. Night Shyamalan film, Unbreakable. So we got to say, see ya!
Marco Sturm, you're German. Well, German also invaded Russia in World War II and was unsuccessful. You are also invading Russia, but in Washington, and will also be unsuccessful, which is why we very much got to say, see ya!
Sturmy. Dean Lombardi loved you in Boston. Then he acquired you, and then you played for the Kings, and then he fell out of love with you. So you know what? We got to say, Auf Wiedersehen!
All right, so Kings fans, your question of the day is, how would you grade the Los Angeles Kings at this trade deadline? Leave your comments, as always, downstairs. We'll be right back at you Monday against the Dallas Stars, another divisional opponent. Really important game there, so look out for that. I'm Keith Korneluk.
And I'm Chris Kalzewski.
And thank you for watching Overtime by KingsCast.